Tilbúinn, veiðimaður.
Já, samþykkt.
Skipan, ég vil.
Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Tilbúinn. Skipan, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt.
Hver er það? Já, samþykkt.
Skipan, já, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Já, vil.
Skipan, ég vil. Hver er það?
Skipan, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, ég vil.
Hver er það? Já.
Já.
Tilbúinn.
Skipan, samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Samþykkt. Skipan, samþykkt. Já.
Já.
Já, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúinn.
Tilbúinn. Satt, grjótsveit.
Til samþykkt, samt til orrustuslag. Satt, atrás.
Já, samþykkt.
Já, samþykkt. Ég vil.
Tilbúinn. Já.
Fyrir því, atrás. Já, atrás.
Já, ég vil. Já, samþykkt.
Til orrustuslag. Atrás. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt.
Tilbúinn. Samþykkt.
Já, ég vil, veiðimaður.
Tilbúinn, ég vil.
Hver er það?
Samþykkt.
Hver er þar?
Skipan, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt.
Ég sagt já. Atrás.
Skipan,
Til ég atrás.
Skipan, samþykkt.
Skipan. Tilbúinn, já. Timbursveit.
Tilbúinn.
Hver er þrás?
Tilbúinn, samþykkt. Já,
Tilbúinn. Tilbúinn. Já.
Skipan.
Skipan.
Já. Fyrir orrustuslag. Já. Til orrustuslag. Til orrustuslag. Fyrir það. Orrustuslag. Já. Atrás.
Tilbúinn. Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Tilbúinn. Orrustuslag.
Já.
Já, satt, veiðimaður. Hver er það? Satt, timbursveit, satt, timbursveit.
Hver er það? Til já, samt já. Skipan, já. Til orrustuslag. Hver er það?
Tilbúinn. Skipan. Já. Ég vil.
Hver er það? Til orrustuslag. Ég samþykkt.
Já, ég vil.
Samþykkt. Hver er það?
Skipan.
Tilbúinn. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúinn. Já.
Skipan. Já, samþykkt. Já, skipan.
Hver er það? Já, samþykkt. Já, satt. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Já, samþykkt.
Skipan. Já, samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Tilbúinn. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Já, samþykkt. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Til orrustuslag.
Já, tilbúin. Já, timbursveit, veiðimaður.
Skipan. Já, já. Samþykkt. Já, já, já. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Atrá. Ég vil. Skipan. Atrá.
Já. Tilbúin. Já. Sækið fram.
Skipan. Atrá. Ég vil. Satt.
Já, já. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, ég vil. Já.
Já, vil. Samþykkt. Satt.
Tilbúin. Já, samþykkt. Já, ég vil.
Skip. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Timbursveit. Já.
Tilbúin. Já.
Já, samþykkt. Skipan. Já, já. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Til ég vil. Skip. Já. Til ég vil. Já, ég vil. Hver er það? Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Já, ég vil.
Skipan.
Skipan. Ég vil. Já, ég vil. Já.
Tilbúin. Orrustu.
Til já. Atrá. Til ég vil. Satt. Hver er það? Skip. Satt.
Hver er það? Skipan. Skipan.
Já, já.
Hver er það? Hver er það? Ég vil. Já. Orrustuslag. Já. Ég vil. Orrustuslag. Hver er það?
Skipan. Hver er það?
Til atrá. Hver er það? Orrustuslag.
Tilbúin. Orrustu.
Já.
Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Skipan. Orrustuslag. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan.
Skipan við.
Hver er það?
Já. Ég atrá. Til já. Skip. Já. Samþykkt. Satt.
Já. Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Já, já. Orrustu.
Tilbúin.
Skipan.
Já. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, já, já.
Tilbúin, timbursveit.
Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Sækið fram.
Til ég samþykkt. Ég vil samþykkt.
Hver er það? Skipan. Samþykkt.
Já, ég vil. Satt.
Hver er það? Já, ég vil. Skipan. Já. Hver er það? Já, ég vil. Hver er það? Skipan. Ég vil.
Hver er það?
Skipan. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Tilbúin. Já. Til já. Skipan.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já.
Til já. Ég vil. Já. Ég vil. Já. Til satt. Samþykkt. Hver er það? Skipan. Ég vil. Satt. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Skipan.
Já, hver er það? Ég vil.
Skipa tilbúið. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Til já. 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 Til já. 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 Skip. Ég vil.
Skip ég vil. Timbursveit. Tilbúinn. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já.
Fyrir það. Skipa. Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Skip. Já. Samþykkt.
Skipa. Skipa. Já. Ég vil. Til ég vil. Skipa. Já. Tilbúið.
Já.
Skipan. Fjósamann.
Hver það vil?
Fyrir það. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Fyrir það. Já. Ég samþykkt. Já. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Fyrir það.
Samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúið. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúið. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Satt.
Hver það? Já. Rjótsveit.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Já.
Já. Veiðimaður.
Fyrir það. Skipa. Ég vil.
Fyrir það.
Fyrir það. Ég vil. Satt. Já. Já.
Já. Satt.
Skipa. Fyrir þar. Tilbúið. Fyrir þar. Já. 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 Ég vil.
Já. Fyrir samþykkt. Já.
Skipa. Já. Afráð.
Fyrir forystuslag.
Skip. Samþykkt. Já. Já. Ég vil.
Já. Ég vil.
Já.
Skipa. Já. Samþykkt. Skipa.
Skip. Samþykkt. Skipan. Samþykkt. Tilbúinn. Já. Skip. Samþykkt. Samþykkt.
Tilbúið. Já. Satt.
Tilbúinn. Satt.
Já. Samþykkt. Til ég vil. Samþykkt.
Skip. Já. Skip. Samþykkt. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já. Til orrustuslag. Til orrustuslag.
Afráð. Já.
Já. Já. Skip. Til orrustuslag.
Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil. Sveit. Veiðimaður. Samþykkt. Já. Satt.
Tilbúið. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Skipa. Ég vil. Tilbúið. Skipa. Já. Samþykkt. Tilsatt. Ég vil. Já. Satt. Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Grjótsveit.
Já. Skip. Fyrir það. Satt. Fyrir það. Já. Til satt. Skipa. Satt. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Fyrir það. Já. Fyrir það. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Fjósamaður.
Já. Til fyrir það. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt.
Tilbúið.
Já. Ég vil. Satt. Fyrir það. Satt.
Tilbúin.
Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Já. Já.
Ég vil.
Skipan.
Samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Skipan.
Til samþykkt. Satt.
Já, ég vil.
Fyrir það.
Fyrir það. Já, til slag. Til já.
Hver þar? Tilbúin. Timbursveit. Tilbúin. Satt.
Skipan. Tilbúin.
Ég vil.
Já.
Fyrir það. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Skipan. Til ég satt. Skipan. Samþykkt. Satt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Sveit.
Já. Skipan. Til orrustuslag. Já. Atráð. Til samþykkt. Satt. Já. Samþykkt. Satt. Fyrir það.
Hver þar? Timbursveit. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Veiðimaður.
Hver er samþykkt?
Fyrir atráð. Skipan. Já.
Já.
Fyrir þar. Atráð. Já. Til orrustuslag. Já. Skipan. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Já, samþykkt.
Fyrir þar. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Satt.
Tilbúin.
Fyrir þar.
Hver er þar?
Já, samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Ég vil.
Já.
Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Já.
Skipan. Já. Skipan. Satt. Ég vil. Satt.
Hver er þar?
Já, samþykkt. Skipan. Ég vil.
Já. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Skipan. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Skipan. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan. Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Skipan. Já. Ég vil.
Fyrir þar. Samþykkt. Fyrir þar.
Skipan. Já. Orrustuslag. Já. Ég vil. Skipan.
Skipan. Satt.
Já. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Skipan.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Satt. Veiðimaður.
Já. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan ég vil. Skipan tilbúin. Grjótsveinn.
Já, skipan. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Satt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Já, skipan. Ég vil. Sækið fram. Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Já, tilbúin. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Já. Hver það? Já.
Skipan. Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Skipan. Já, ég vil. Já. Já, ég vil.
Tilbúin. Hver það? Timbursveit. Tilbúin. Timbursveit. Tilbúin. Veiðimaður.
Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Tilbúin. Tilbúin. Já, tilbúin. Já. Til forystuslag. Skipan. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Já, tilbúin. Samþykkt. Til forystuslag. Skipan. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Til forystuslag. Tilbúin.
Skipan.
Já. 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 Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Forystuslag. Skipan. Ég samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Skipan. Já, samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan. Tilbúin. Já.
Hver það? Skipan. Skipan það. Timbursveit.
Tilbúin. Hver er það? Já, samþykkt. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Við.
Já, ég vil. Já, ég samþykkt.
Já, fyrir það. Skipan. Forystuslag.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Hver er það? Ég vil. Já, ég vil.
Já.
Já, ég vil. Skipan. Skipan. Til forystuslag. Ég vil.
Fyrir það. Forystuslag. Fyrir það. Skipan. Forystuslag. Tilbúin. Fyrir það. Já, fyrir já. Já.
Satt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan. Hver er það? Ég vil. Tilbúin. Hver er það? Skipan. Skipan. Hver er það? Já,
Fyrir það. Til forystuslag.
skipan.
Já, satt.
Skipan. Já, samþykkt.
Skipan. Tilbúin.
Skipan. Orðstöðslag. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, ég vil. Skipan. Sveinn. Skipan. Samþykkt, já. Ég vil.
Fyrir já. Skip já. Já. Til já.
Til orustuslag.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já, skipan. Já, ég vil.
Tilbúin? Já. Tilbúin, Borsveit. Ég vil. Já, ljósveit.
Skip til orustuslag. Fyrir það. Til samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, skipan. Já, ég vil.
Já. Til orustuslag.
Skipan. Ég vil. Orustuslag. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Sækið. Já, skipan. Tilbúin. Já, tilbúin. Sækið. Fram. Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, ég samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Já, ég vil.
Fyrir það. Já. Til orustuslag.
Skip. Já, samþykkt.
Til já. Aðrá. Fyrir það.
Skipan. Já. Ég samþykkt. Sækið fram. Tilbúin. Sækið fram. Sækið fram.
Hver er það? Skipan? Hver er það? Timbursveit. Veiðimaður. Grjótsveit.
Já, ég samþykkt. Já. Sækið fram. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Sækið fram. Tilbúin. Já.
Fyrir það. Já. Já. Til orustuslag.
Já, ég vil.
Fyrir það. Samþykkt. Ég samþykkt. Já. Til já.
Skip. Já, ég vil. Já. Orustuslag. Fram. Skip. Sækið fram.
Já. Ég vil. Veiðimaður.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Skip. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Sækið fram.
Skip fyrir það. Skip til orustuslag.
Já.
Skipan. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Timbursveit.
Skipan. Já. Skipan. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, ég vil. Skipan. Samþykkt. Já. Skipan. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Orustuslag. Skipan. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Fyrir það. Já. Fyrir það. Til ég vil. Aðrá.
Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Skipan.
Já. Samþykkt. Já. Til
Ég vil.
Til já. Til orustuslag. Fyrir það. Fyrir það. Já.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Fyrir það. Til ég vil. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Hver er þar? Hver er þar?
Skipan. Bætið. Orrustuslag. Já, samþykkt. Skip tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Já, rækið. Fram.
Já, orrustuslag.
Skipan.
Hver er þar? Já, ég vil.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Já, tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan. Já, ég vil.
Já, ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil.
Skipan.
Já, hver er þar? Já, orrustuslag.
Skipan. Orrustuslag.
Hver er það? Hver er það? Já.
Skipan. Timbursveit.
Hver er það? Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Grjótsveit.
Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Samþykkt rás.
Skipan. Skipan.
Hver er það?
Já. Samþykkt.
Já. Já.
Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Hver er það? Ég vil. Rás.
Já. Skipan.
Já, rás.
Skipan. Já. Bætið. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Bætið. Já. Tilbúin. Bætið. Samþykkt. Já.
Grjótsveit.
Hver er það? Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Samþykkt.
Já.
Já. Já. Tilbúin. Bætið. Fram. Bætið. Fram.
Ég vil.
Bætið. Orrustuslag.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já. 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 Ég vil. Ég vil. Orrustuslag. Orrustuslag. Já. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Orrustuslag.
Já, rás.
Já. Ég vil. Já. Bætið. Samþykkt.
Já, rás. Rás. Já, rás.
Já. Tilbúin. Hver er það? Skipan.
Til samþykkt. Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Já.
Já. Bætið. Fram. Já. Bætið. Já. Tilbúin. Bætið. Orrustuslag.
Ég vil. Satt. Já. Til orrustuslag.
Skipan.
Hver er það? Já. Skip. Hver er það? Skip. Já. Orrustuslag.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Já. Bætið. Fram. Orrustuslag.
Timbursveit.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Skip.
Já. Samþykkt.
Já. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Hver er skip? Hver er samþykkt? Til ég vil.
Já.
Til satt. Ég vil. Til orrustuslag.
Hver er það? Rás.
Til orrustuslag.
Skipan.
Ég vil. Já. Skipan.
Hver er þar? Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Já. Til orrustuslag.
samþykkt. Til orrustuslag.
Skipa ádrás. Tilbúin. Ádrás. Tilbúin. Ádrás.
Skipið samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Skipan. Já, ég vil. Já, tilbúin. Skipan. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já. Samþykkt.
Skip, já, ég samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Hver er það? Orrustuslag.
Skipan. Ég vil. Ádrás. Sækið fram. Tilbúin. Já. Skipan til orrustuslag.
Skipás. Tilbúin. Hver er það? Já, ég vil. Til orrustuslag.
Erschlost.
Til orrustuslag. Hver er það?
Til orrustuslag.
Skip atrás.
So for anyone trying this themselves, or if you're just curious about what I'm doing, I'll break it down step by step, as what I'm doing in the first 5 minutes is pretty locked in stone. And I'll flash my build order on the screen for anyone who wants to follow it. It's pretty much the same every time. You definitely don't have to follow it, but my general thinking is you want a 5-1-4 split, preferably with 3 dwarves. It's 5 on food, 1 wood, and then 4 on gold. When it comes to ox carts, I like to share my first ox cart on the gold with wood if possible. Sometimes the hunt, but the hunt one can move, so it's best to do it with your gold miner ox cart. The other thing is I always scout my front with the Ulf right in front of my base to try and find if there is front TCs or not, which type of spawn the map is. Is it a 1 additional TC or a 2 additional TC? With these 1v7s, I found more commonly than not it'll spawn with only 1 additional town centre, only a back town centre. But if there is a front town centre, I like to attack on the opposite side to it. So, for example, if my front TC was here where the scout is, I would be attacking this side or the other side if the TC was here. This is partially because of the buffer that you want to create. You can use that TC as part of that buffer, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So yeah, you want to get your Ulf over to the other side and set up your temple to attack the closest one to you. If you've watched the previous 1v6, in that I said that running directly to the other side of the map to start your attack would probably be optimal. I don't think that's the case anymore, or at least not with the 1v7, simply because it's so far, and you really do need to figure out if it's a 1 or 2 additional TC spawn. And the map's just larger with an extra AI to fit in. So the walk there, I'm pretty sure you'd have to delay your advance. So this is what I tended to do. I'm building this temple outside of line of sight because I don't want it to get deconned. But you want to set up the temple with the Ulf and then run the Ulf off. And this one I lost my pig, so I couldn't scout, so I run him around the back to scout. And also spreading out your houses is useful. So I'm trying to make Hursa. I should be up Heimdall, yeah. So you want to get the Hursa out, try and farm Faber as much as possible to start getting Einars out as fast as you can. And also auto-queuing dwarves as soon as you advance onto gold until you start making Einar, and then you swap to villagers onto wood, and I'll explain that as well. Generally, 5 on food's enough. This is a 3 giraffe spawn. You can have 3 or 2 giraffe. 3 giraffe is so much better because this point where you really want to be making Hursa to farm favor, you often start running out of food and then have to swap hunts. You'll see there's only 60 or effectively 120 left in this giraffe, which is a crucial time to be running out of food. But 5's enough. You don't really need more than that to keep making Hursa, and they're not the most important unit. The Einar are the most important unit. I knew this was going to get deconned, but that's fine. It's just what's going to happen if there's a Kronos in the game. You can see I'm scouting with my Ulf. I'm looking for a hunt to move to, and I scout these giraffe, which are perfectly placed. I should be starting to make Einar now. Yep, I had the favor. You want to wait to dive the TC until you have 2. Once you've got 2, that's enough. So you can see I've got 2 out. One was a spawn off of killing that watchtower, and the other one I've made out of my temple. And now I'm just auto-queuing Hursa, Einar, and I'll drop the Underworld onto this TC in a second and dive it with both the Hursa and the Einar. I should have swapped to villagers by now. I'm swapping to villagers now. 7 or 8 dwarves is enough. I think from here, 5 on food is enough, 7 or 8 dwarves is enough, and I want to move my villagers onto wood. The reason for this is I want to use this Ulf and maybe some other Ulfs to make a buffer on this side. A buffer of barracks. Now that can also be the TC if you have a 4 TC, but it essentially just slows down the AIs from getting in and idling of villagers, which is super important. So I'm auto-queuing villagers onto the wood to then have a enormous surplus of wood to make barracks. And I think barracks is probably better than town centers. A barracks has 1,000 HP, over 1,000, 1,100 I think, and only costs 100 wood. A TC has 2,800 HP and costs 700 resources. So, you know, for 700 resources, you could have 7,700 HP of barracks here for the AI to bash through. You can see I've cleaned this one out. It was an Egyptian and they did actually advance, so I'm cleaning up the towers before I go. And the other thing that I found is taking the hometown center of each AI that you kill just takes them out of the game completely, because their villagers kind of get drawn back to it and they run into it and just get died to the arrows, which is super useful. You can see I'm starting to float a lot of wood. And I should be starting my barrack spam soon. We'll just fast play to that point. I've got my Ulf here. The barrack spam started, and I'm building this TC, and I'm moving on almost as soon as I can, but I did want to clean up those towers before I left because I intended to take this town center. And you can also see I've left a few Hursa here whacking the villagers, not just to kill the villagers, but to spawn more myth units. And you'll see me dragging them in. Replenishing your military buildings is also super important. Often they'll come and attack these temple and barracks, so you're not just saving walking time, but the lifetime of these is quite numbered. So I'm getting my barracks and my temple up, and hopefully in the barracks soon. I'm just left clicking on the town center with the Einar. They will kill it very fast. And you can see I've got a couple of armies coming in. Often they come here. Sometimes they will come to your first military buildings. Sometimes they even come to the front, which usually spells the end of the attempt. But these ones, they kind of came for my second lot of military buildings mostly, which is a little bit annoying. And here you can see yellow coming straight for these barracks that I'm making. We've got quite a few up now. Green's TC is almost down. And I will move the Aniars off, clean up a little bit. And I will start my first lot of dragging units. I see I tried to do it with these two Valkyrie, but I don't think I clicked far enough. Where you just run them close, they start attacking, and then you run away. But I only got to here, and then they died. I think I have another successful one. Here, I'm starting to fight Orange's army. For some reason these run off, I didn't actually realize that. And you can see my barrack spam's continuing over here. These units, if it weren't for the barracks, would be in here idling all of these villages. And yeah, that would be pretty rough. Yeah, just cleaning up some units before I go in, kill towers, kill the TC. And again, replenishing military buildings and an armory as I got the resources to go heroic. And I've also taken Green's town centre as well, farming up some myth spawns. You see I've got a troll and an Ania and another Ania. Those will probably all come from spawns, so I'm not really making anything out of these anymore. Got a few more barracks up. These houses I put way off on the side to distract these units as well, which is nice. These I've run from my base. I've started pulling some. I should have pulled these dwarves, but I didn't. And this fight here is taking quite a long time. But that's okay, because I've distracted all the other armies, and it is just me and orange. And a little bit of, what would you call this? Oxblood? Maroon perhaps? And I get a decent flaming weapons here. I don't have that many Hursa, but it's so hard to keep your Hursa alive. Your myth spawns do all the work. So this allows the Hursa to do a bit more damage, therefore get a few more myth spawns, which is just super nice. And here they've finished off that barrack spam, and everything's idle in my town center, and you'll see I kind of sack everything and just run it to the corner, and it pulls all these units. Over here I've finished off orange, so I have 3 out of the game. Now, I expected that when I started these that you'd need to remove all but 2, but having watched my previous 1v6 attempt quite a few times, because I didn't kill a couple of them fully, I was kind of 1v3ing. So when I started the 1v7s, I thought, you know, if I could get 4 of them actually completely out of the game, mostly wiped, then it would be possible. So that's kind of my goal, is to get 3 and then hopefully a 4th while still staying alive. So I don't actually have enough to even push, so I'm just cleaning at the moment. My economy is really struggling with this. Here, I think I pull a few dwarves off and manage to escape with most of them, which is pretty nice. And they go and eagle this hunt, which I was desperately needing. But for the most part, their units are kind of just all around the place, dying to towers, attacking barracks. It's almost 12 minutes in the game and my home TC is still up, which is a very good sign. Yeah, they're just chasing some dwarves. And I'm also heroic, so I can start getting better myth spawns like this mountain giant and just pumping out battle boar. Also, with this kind of all being over here, I'm starting my next barrack spam on the next town center that's going to move around to. With this Ulf, I'm getting a bunch of barracks up. I've got a lot of wood in the bank for this reason. You also just kind of float wood because you don't use it otherwise. And it can be hard to keep all your villagers actively gathering the resources you need. Let's fast play through a lot of this. So, just building my army back up, cleaning through all this, getting the hometown center of Orange. here, even 13 minutes in the game, I'm repairing this TC even. And you can see all of these units. This is such a scary army, but it ran all the way into the corner to where my villagers were. And now it has to walk all the way back, which is just gives me so much time to regather my units and then go in on this purple, maroon, very dark purple color. What's his name? Memphis. And all of his armies over here as well, so it's mostly undefended, which is really nice. And you'll see I'm able to kill him quite fast. But look at this army, it is just terrifying. But it'll take a while to kill all these barracks, and a lot of it's moving slowly because they're moving with these really slow myth units. Here I'm able to pull the majority of them with this 43 HP battle boar, which is just so worth it. They're back up in the corner and they have to run all the way back. I'm continuing my barrack spam. I'm making even more builders to try and get more barracks down. And I have a bit of economy left and a pretty decent army here to push through when there's not much defending, because again a lot of his units are over here. This is really important. In fact, it's so important we're going to pause. You can see Teal's got a villager already running to take these town centers. If Teal takes these town centers, it really slows my recovery on the side of the map. So it's important to be getting barracks back up to get more builders out to then retake these town centers, or at least block them from taking it. And I managed to sneak 2 of these throwing axemen here by sacking this one and distracting, and then getting this barracks up, and it leads me to regaining this town center, and spreading my economy across the map. And you can see this push going really well here. My barracks spam is buying me a bit of time. Behemoth is doing a lot of damage though. But yeah, there's just no way I could fight this. There's too many units. But I'm getting this town center back up. I've got a bit of stuff going on here. And Memphis is essentially dead. And I should be taking that town center soon. This town center's up, getting more barracks up for when they come back. Another thing to note is markets. I didn't really use them that much because it's very difficult to get a clear line, as you can see. In fact, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. But for 100 food, even a trip from here, this market that I made, to this town center, which is where they were going to, a successful trip will net 100 base, but then with the bonus, about 200, 250 sometimes gold for a single 100 food investment. And it's definitely worth it. Supposed to be making markets around the place, even if it's not a necessarily optimal route in terms of length, you're still a worthwhile investment. And I'll try and point out where I start remaking my markets, because I do make a few different routes, and I think it was really helpful for keeping gold production, because gold's so important, because it's the source of my battle boars is gold. I have a lot of battle boars here. Yeah, I felt kind of semi-confident that I could then push through purple, but you'll see this, it doesn't go very well for me. The other thing to note is I've chosen tier. This was only the second or third time I chose tier over hell, because I really rated the fire giants. At the same time, I was loving the battle boars, and I figured the AIs would not be garrisoning their villages, and they also seem to not really rebuild them very often. So a Thimble Winter would be super powerful, and on top of that, I really wanted to experiment with the Bravery Huskarl, which you'll see are quite useful. But here, they're slowly moving down, cleaning up everything. But at the same time, I'm regaining it all. And I've refreshed my market here. Do I have any? Here are here are my ox caravans that survived. And you'll see this push fails. Just so many heroes, and Teal comes in to help. And I didn't actually show the Fimbulwinter, but I killed quite a few villagers, particularly of purples. And yellows, of course. With that Fimbulwinter, I think it's probably the superior option. And then instead of making Ballista Fire Giant, which is really strong, making Battle Boar, Rams, Huskarl, which is also really strong. At this point, with all the armies here and the failed push here, I'm trying to push over here. But you'll see I'm not able to. And also, actually, I'll stop this here because the recording is going to desync out at about 23 minutes, sadly. But that's most of what you need to understand for the strategy. There's a few things I'll quickly go back over, which is first one is the map spawn being only one additional town center. I had attempts, in particular one attempt with 2 additional town centers that was going really well, and that one I had some sort of memory loss error. I think it was something to do with the recording, which crashed my game and I lost that. But I definitely think it's possible. And not necessarily worse to have more town centers, even though the AI therefore has more town centers and more population. You can see it almost doesn't matter how much population they have, they're all the way over the other side of the map. They spend most of their time running around, particularly because of how large this map is. With the additional AI, it just feels so much larger. Is there anything else I wanted to go over? Not really. One thing I will say is, when it comes to surviving, like I'm doing, the most important thing, even if you're not against 7, is to get just one whole side like this, that you can then build here, have it kill, then run them to this side, and be rebuilding this other side and have them going back and forth. That's the most important thing for surviving. And also spamming barracks. Barracks, it really just is quite powerful. And it's probably the major difference to my 1v6 attempts. Was not necessarily trying to hold this, but just trying to slow my loss of it by just building a lot of barracks. And even then throughout the game, spamming buildings around the place to slow down the AI pushing and idling my villages. Alright, I think I'll leave it there. Hopefully this is useful. Thanks for watching.